I don't recall the last time two highly anticipated films released at the same time left me so underwhelmed. Usually in a cinematic clash of this magnitude, you expect at least one clear winner, a film that rises above its competition in quality, storytelling, or sheer spectacle. But here, with the War 2 vs Coolie clash, we are presented with a rare and disappointing phenomenon where both films arrive with a laundry list of similar issues.
You're goddamn right.
To add to that, each film also has its own unique set of flaws that compound the problem. The nature of the problems is such that even if these films had been released without competition, they still would have fallen flat. So let's pull back the curtain on this cinematic event and analyze both movies and explore the common problems that made this clash more of a collective stumble than a grand showdown. This is the answer to what went wrong with War 2 and Coolie.
Bolo, bolo, tell.
Let's get started with our first point, the failure of the weak screenplay.
A story is something that constantly unfolds. I'm not talking about like this quick left turn or a quick right turn or a big surprise. I'm talking about it unfolds.
When the screenplay is weak, even a strong cast, brilliant direction, and high-octane action can't save the film from feeling hollow. In the case of War 2, its predictability and reliance on a tried formula are the screenplay's biggest flaws. The plot, centered around a rogue agent, is so transparent that anyone who has seen the trailers can tell what's going to happen. The moment you see a shot of Junior NTR standing by the door of a plane or a shot of Ashutosh Rana being kidnapped, you instantly know the twist and what's coming next. The pacing of the film is also a major issue. The post-interval scene detailing Kabir and Vikram's childhood feels excessively long. This could have been handled more effectively using cross-cutting timelines used in films like Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer. This would have woven their backstories into the present narrative, immersing the audience immediately and making their relationship more compelling. The placement of songs further derails the film's momentum. They feel like sudden, jarring interruptions rather than organic parts of the story. The entire film follows a repetitive template, an action segment followed by a face-off and then repeating the cycle. The chase sequence in Dubai, for example, is completely unnecessary. It adds nothing to the plot and could have been better utilized to develop a more complex spy narrative. Coolie's screenplay issues are different but equally damaging. The film's narrative is constantly derailed by a relentless pursuit of fan service and cameos, making the story feel disjointed and unfocused. The screenplay is stuffed with so many characters that it's impossible to know who to root for or understand their backstories. More importantly, how Deva, Rajnikant's character, is connected to all this is such a slow burn that by the time the ending arrives, you lose interest and are just waiting for the promised Amir Khan cameo. These songs are added with no context or build-up. In one scene, a character named Monica suddenly leaves her engagement and feels like dancing for no apparent reason, completely derailing the narrative. A particularly confusing segment is the telephone number plot, where a call eventually reveals to Deva the identity of his biological child. The connection feels weak and doesn't land properly, leaving the audience more confused than engaged. These are just a few examples, but a tighter screenplay that unfolded these elements more organically could have made the movie truly engaging. Instead, the film feels more like a chaotic, overstuffed universe builder rather than a single powerful story, and in the process, it loses its soul. To add to the weak screenplay, the lack of emotional resonance further affects the movie. Today's audience expects more than just a plot. They crave for an emotional connection that is built through a combination of story, dialogue, character development, and background music. In Animal, when Vijay breaks down in the arms of his uncle after learning of his father's inoperable cancer, the audience feels a cathartic connection. Even though Vijay is morally flawed, we are invested in his pain and his desperate desire to save his father. This emotional investment is what makes the film's flawed hero compelling, and you can see that in so many successful films. In contrast, War 2 builds a bond between its two leads, Kabir and Vikram, but makes you feel nothing. After the interval, we are suddenly treated to a lengthy flashback of their childhood, where they become friends and then move apart. That entire sequence is so uninspired. Even the Janabe Ali dance sequence feels completely out of place and forced. The fight scene in the climax is a purely physical confrontation, devoid of any emotional stakes. There are no flashback dialogues or moments of reflection that add weight to their conflict or eventual reconciliation.
Death before dishonor. Service before self. India first. India first.
Coming to Coolie, whose biggest emotional failing is that it introduces so many characters that you can't build a connection with any of them. The film is so overstuffed with backstories and motivations that nothing lands properly. Shobin's character, Dayal, has a reason for his actions, but it feels so random that it's impossible to care. Satyaraj's character telling Deva to quit alcohol makes very little sense. Nagarjuna's character, whose father was killed by Deva, as later revealed in the climax, has no scenes or moments of reflection where he shows remorse or emotional recollection of his loss. The reveal that Shruti Hassan's character, Preeti, is Deva's biological child is another prime example of a missed opportunity. Despite an entire scene dedicated to a phone call revealing this, the moment carries no emotional weight. It adds nothing to the story and could have been completely removed without impacting the plot at all. The film jumps from one character's trauma to the next without giving the audience a chance to breathe and truly feel for them. Collectively, neither of these films gives you a single moment to shed a tear, as you never get the feeling of seeing something relatable along the journey.
Super!
The final and perhaps most fundamental issue common to both films is their crippling over-reliance on star power at the expense of storytelling. In an industry where a superstar's presence is often seen as a guaranteed part to a blockbuster, the script becomes a mere vehicle for the star's image and established persona. In War 2, the entire film feels like a spectacle built to showcase the clash of titans between Hrithik Roshan and Junior NTR.
He is a soldier. You are a soldier. And this is war.
The screenplay, as we have already discussed, is a thin excuse for a series of stylized encounters and dance-offs between the two leads. The plot doesn't drive the characters star power dictates the plot. The film isn't about the moral ambiguity of a spy or the high-stakes world of espionage, it's about the charisma and on-screen presence of Hrithik and Junior NTR, a choice that ultimately leaves the audience feeling cheated out of a meaningful story. This problem is even more pronounced in Coolie. The film is less a story and more a checklist of fan service moments for Rajinikanth's loyal following. The narrative is constantly interrupted to deliver a signature walk, a stylish dialogue, or a punch that defies logic, all intended to remind the audience that they are watching a Kalaivar movie. To add to that, instead of being a pan-India movie due to its story and relatable appeal, it's a movie that has actors from all prominent movie industries of India. Each new star's appearance feels like an attempt to one-up the previous moment, further diluting the film's focus. The movie is a star-studded event first and a coherent narrative second, and in this process, the core story gets lost in a sea of unnecessary subplots and character introductions. Ultimately, both War 2 and Coolie serve as a cautionary tale for the industry. They show what happens when filmmakers prioritize commercial returns and ego over compelling storytelling.
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
If you found this video insightful, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon to stay up to date on all our videos. If you are interested in watching more and are wondering if SRK won the National Award for the right film, check out our video here. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.